Hey, beloveds, welcome to Curious Bible Girl here. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a wonderful day as I am. I'm sitting out here on the rooftop and it's going to be a little bit noisy because I live in New York City and, they're always building something out here in New York. So I wanted to come up here and start talking about this book that I picked up on Amazon. I actually have the video of me talking about why I chose this topic and why I'm, doing this. But I wanted to come up here and talk about this, a history of the wife. And I'm also reading the Bible as well. There's a lot of wife in the Bible. A lot of people are talking about they want a Proverbs 31 wife, and a wife actually do be saving lives in the Bible and stuff like that. So I just want to come up here and talk about certain stories in the Bible where there's a wife, right, in conjunction with this book as well. So one of the first wives I want to talk about is Sarah. Sarah and Abraham, or Abram and Sarai, and then Abraham and Sarah, right? The reason why I want to talk about their marriage is because this marriage was so protected by God that God did not miss a beat when it came to this marriage that we see in Genesis, right? So in Genesis, if you remember, if you go back to hold on, because notes don't mean anything, right? um, if you go back to okay, if you go back to Genesis 12, and in my Bible, which is I think it's an NIV, yeah, it's an NIV. In my Bible, it's titled um, it's titled "The Call of Abram," right? And in this part, this is when Abram goes to Egypt to the famine land, and this is crazy to me that God sent Abram to a famine land to fulfill his purpose, right? Whatever his purpose was in Egypt was to go to Pharaoh and get what he needed to get, which was sheep, cattle, male and female donkey, male and female servants, and camels, right? But once he went there, he told Sarai, he said, I know that you are a beautiful woman. You are. I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, they will say, this is his wife. Then they will kill me, but will let you live. Say you are my sister, so that I will be treated well for your sake, and my life would be spared because of you. When Abram came to Egypt, the Egyptians saw that Sarai was a beautiful woman. And when Pharaoh officials saw her, they praised her to the Pharaoh, and she was taken into his palace, right? They scooped her up immediately. They took her immediately, right? So Abram and Sarai already had their plan in play. Like, yo, if they come and get you, or whatever the situation is, it is official. You are my sister, right? So once that happened, it says in Genesis 12:17, it says, but the Lord inflicted serious diseases on Pharaoh and his household because of Abram's wife. Okay. Okay. Sarai was that girl, and everybody got inflicted because of the wife being there. And God knew what the intentions was, because Abram said, if I go in there and I say that you are my wife, I'm getting killed. And that's going to stop God's plan right? For Abraham's life. Then there would be no Isaac. Then there would be no, the continuation. That's the end of the book right there. Abraham's dead. This is the Bible. This will be the Bible right now. If Abraham got God, right? And then we see in Genesis 20 where we have Abraham and Abimelech, right? God was like, listen, do not touch that woman, right? I'm rolling up in Abimelech's dream. God pulled up in Abimelech's dream. It was like, do not touch that woman. Do not touch her. That is another man's wife. He's a prophet, right? That's what he said. That's another man's wife. He's a prophet. You are good as dead. That's what God told Abimelech. You are good as dead. You are good as dead. She's a married woman, right? Once Abraham was able to get what he needed out of Abimelech, he was sent on his way just the way Pharaoh sent him on his way as well. It was like, get up out of here. You doing too much. Like, why would you do that to me? You know what I'm saying? Because your intentions were to destroy this marriage. So God had to intervene on that by causing these boils, right? Do not touch that woman. There's a purpose why she's here. There's a purpose that she has to fulfill. Do not touch. You do not defile this marriage. You cannot defile this marriage with your evil thoughts and your evil interventions and your evil ways. God was not playing with this marriage at all. Once Abraham and Sarai left Abimelech, the wombs opened back up. God God said nobody's getting pregnant in this camp until that lady leaves. Until the lady leaves, nobody can get pregnant in this camp. This marriage is a sacred marriage. Do not touch this woman. Do not look at this woman. Do not do anything to this woman besides provide what her husband is asking for right now. Right? Sarah was a distraction to all the men, and God knew their thoughts. God knew their lustful ways. God knew that no, you're not going to destroy this at all. At all, at all, at all. Right? That these two situations, because it started at the beginning. Before, once they started their faith walk, they started to move around and stuff like that. Genesis 12, it happened at the beginning, and then again once then again once they had finished acquiring what they needed to acquire, and then it starts the next chapter. People are getting Sarah's getting pregnant, right? So God, how do I get text messages? God was not playing about the marriage because there was a purpose to fulfill. There was a purpose to fill. God got them, and then once, I'm sorry if I'm talking slow, but because it just makes me think like God really provides. Like God had them go and get cattle at the beginning of their faith walk, right? He said, "Go and get cattle. Go get the things that you need, and blah blah blah." And this is a famine land in Egypt. It was a famine land. And then God said, go get cattle and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 and this, and third. I feel like that was such a smart move at the beginning because now the cattle can reproduce and supply and do all the things that needs to be done so that by the time this baby comes, right? But that by the time this baby comes, they have enough food for whatever. They have enough everything. They have everything that they need by the time this baby comes that Sarah's about to be blessed with, right? So God strategically placed this marriage to like work that way, to go through his trials and tribulations, to see how strong everything is. Sarai did not deceive her husband the way that somebody else did, right? Because this marriage was the setup. This marriage was the real setup. You feel me? So as I go through this Bible right now, I feel like this book was a perfect book for me because this topic, I should say, this topic really had me thinking like, wives really do have purpose, right? It's just up for you to find out what your purpose is in your marriage, right? When you don't have a purpose in the marriage, then anything could penetrate the marriage. Sarai knew what the plan was. We are getting cattle and stuff and all that type of stuff so that we can live. She was an Egyptian woman herself, so she understood what was going on, right? She understood the game plan. She understood her people. She understood how people were going to get down. She and Abraham had to work together so that they don't mess up the plan because she considered her husband to be Lord. And that is exactly what a husband is. A husband is the master of the household. The history of a wife.